Conrad's in there drinking some water, y'all. You thirsty there, Conrad? You thirsty? You big thirsty?
Well, wake up now, don't you know it's time for the Cowboy Corner Show. Come on, everyone, let's go to the Cowboy Corner Show.
Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Cowboy Corner Show with me, the Cowboy, who is also in the corner. That's right. I just want you to know I'm so excited that you have decided to join me today for the show. We got some stuff to talk about, and I just want to get started by saying I am so thankful for each and every one of you who contacted me, who sent me messages, who left some comments, who found me in person and said, hey, Cowboy, we watched your show, and you gave me the input, you gave me some answers to the questions, you told me what you thought, and we have a verdict, y'all. The jury has spoken, and let me tell you what, I am excited. You know why I'm excited? Because I get to continue using the baby butt wipes. I tell you what, that's some great news. That's probably the best news I've heard all week, because I was going to use them anyway, as we discussed. But at least now I get to use them in peace, knowing that it's okay, that I ain't got to hide them anymore. A lot of you fellers and ladies that are watching and listening, apparently you're also using them. So, hey, that's good news, right? Because I can't judge you. You can't judge me. We're all equal in this. And, you know, there was one old boy that found me, and we kind of had a little discussion, and and he started telling me, well, you know, Cowboy, you can't use them baby butt wipes. You got to use that John Wayne toilet paper. He said, I'm ex-military, and in the military, we used nothing but John Wayne toilet paper. We didn't eat anything but them MREs, and we had gravy leg all day long. That's all we did is just had gravy leg from them MREs, and we still used the John Wayne toilet paper, and we got away with it, and blah, 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 blah. And then he continues on the story, and come to find out, he had ordered like a whole pallet of the baby butt wipes. Not the exact baby butt wipes. They're the man kind. I can't name them unless they pay me. I ain't going to say the name, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this feller, he has a whole pallet of those. Come to find out, he's been using them after he done gave me the runaround to saying that I can't use them, that I ain't a real cowboy if I don't use the John Wayne toilet paper. And I'm just like, hey, you know, you just lost all credibility in this conversation, so I'm going to keep using them. You know, don't pee down my back and tell me it's raining. I ain't buying it. I can't go for it. So anyway, it's pretty much 100% consensus saying baby butt wipes are the way to go. And I tell you, that's the way that old Cowboy is going to go. And even Conrad, when he gets them little dingleberries hanging off the back there, yes, sir. That's how we handle that nonsense. I tell you what. That was a lot of words there, folks. Now, I do also want to say a big howdy to the young cowboys and cowgirls that have been watching. Hey, I heard you. I've heard your comments. You've been dropping me some stuff. You've been following. A few of you have found me in person and said, hey, Cowboy, and I just want you to know I'm glad that you're here. You are my favorite. So let's get started, shall we? Now, just to know, if you don't know what we're talking about on the baby butt wipes thing, you can go back. It's in last week's episode. You can go back and watch it. It's right there on the YouTube. I'm sure there is a link to it. If not, you can find it after the video. It'll go back to that one. That way you'll know exactly what we're talking about here. So anyway, getting started, just some things that I've been thinking about. You know, I don't know what you've all been doing this week. The NBA playoffs are going on, though, and I've been watching them a little bit, and I just... You know, I can't get into the basketball game too much because I'm distracted by, like, why are these guys wearing these short shorts? Like, what's the deal with the short shorts again? Why do the guys got the shorts that are 6 inches above their kneecaps? Like, I don't know. I come from the generation that, you know, it was back in the Fab Five, you know, the Fab Five from Michigan. And them boys that brought in them long shorts, they hung down and they sagged them down a little bit. And that is the kind of basketball shorts that I'm used to seeing. Now, I know back in the, early days, like we go back to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and then in the early 90s, I know they wore them short shorts back then, and, it is what it is, but we ain't wearing short shorts now, and I don't understand why they're trying to do it again now. I don't know why they're trying to bring that back. I ain't a fan of it myself. I ain't trying to see no man's thighs. I just ain't. There just ain't nothing about a man's thighs that old Cowboy is trying to get my eyes on. You know what I mean? And so I'm a little offended about it, if we're being honest. And I just want to know, like, what is your opinion as the viewer of the basketball game? Like, let me know. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about the guys in the short shorts, because I currently, I ain't with it. And, Michael Jordan, you go look back early in his career. Here's a shot of him right here. This is sometime in the 80s. Yeah, he did wear the short shorts for a minute. That's before he was Michael Air Jordan. That's when he was just a basketball player. But by the time that he got to be who he is, he had them long shorts on. And he was still jumping, 79, 80 feet in the air. And he was still dunking that ball and doing all kinds of spins and tornadoes. And, that's when basketball was good. That's when everybody was watching basketball. You had old Dennis Rodman. He had his face looked like he fell in a tackle box, and his hair was all yeller and pink. And, basketball was good back then. You had the Bulls and the Pistons, and boy, they'd just as much rather fight as to play basketball. And they all had them long shorts on. And, that's when it was good. So what do you think about that? For one, I can't do it. I can't watch it. So I don't even know if I'm going to finish watching the NBA playoffs. I really don't care too much about basketball, honestly. I was just trying to find something to do, and then there they were. And I was like, God, these guys in these short shorts. But anyway, let me know what you think about that. And then next week we will discuss it, Hey, guys, can we cut real quick? I really got to go to the bathroom. Alrighty, y'all. Hey, I'm so sorry about that. When nature calls, you gotta answer. Hope none of y'all were violated. My sincerest apologies. But anyway, back to what we was talking about. Basketball was just better in the 90s. It just was. You had all your superstars, and they didn't just fight over the money and the contracts and, it's all about me. No, it was a team game, and them boys played, and they played their hearts out. And I just want to know, what do you think? What was your favorite team back in the early days of basketball? Now, I'm not talking about current. Nobody cares. But you go back to the 90s, you go back to the Bulls, you had the Pistons, you had the Knicks, you had the Celtics with, Larry Bird and them boys. And, basketball was good. They played hard. So leave me a comment. Let's talk about that. Let's go back to that 90s basketball. And while we're at it, I was just thinking back to my childhood. I was a youngin' back in the 80s, and even before the 90s basketball came around, we had the 80s, and that was wrestling. You had to have a favorite wrestler back in the 1980s, and boy, that was my heyday. And when I was a little youngin' running around, I watched wrestling. I believe it was Monday nights that it was on. But anyway, whatever night it came on, I was watching it, and I eventually got some of those. I think they were called wrestling buddies. We can look them up. Yeah, that's what they look like right there. Them little pillars, and they was about 3 feet tall or whatnot, little pillars. And as a little boy, I just beat the tar out of them things. I just beat the snot out of them. I had 3 or 4 of them. And, man, I just go to town on them. And then I remember I was watching on TV, and I was like, why are these wrestlers, why are they so shiny? They're all tan and they're all shiny. And I remember asking my mama, I was like, hey, mama, why are these wrestlers so shiny? I was a little kid, so I was like, hey, mama, why are these wrestlers so shiny? And she was like, well, son, they put baby oil on, and they, rub down in baby oil, and it makes them look good under them lights and whatnot. And I was like, oh, really? Well, we got some lights here in the living room. And so I ran into the bathroom. I remember going in there. Of course, she didn't know what I was doing. But I found the baby oil under the cabinet, and boy, I tell you, I doused myself up with it, and I come out of there, and then I had my little wrestling pillars, and I mean, it was like an oil slick, just through the floor and on them pillars. And my mom come out, boy, what in the tarnation you doing? And I was like, well, Mama, put on the baby oil like the wrestlers on the TV. I remember she was so mad, but that's one of those things that you just think about, 30 years down the road now, or however long it's been, probably more than that, honestly, and laugh about it. But I also just remember that them wrestlers, they had great hair back in the 90s. I mean, they had hair that you wouldn't believe. Those boys had mullets. They had them Mississippi waterfalls. They had them just curly locks. And so in honor of that, I put together a little list. And so I want to run through this list of these wrestlers that I put together from the 1980s. And we'll go through them here. And what I want you to do, I've already got them in the order how I vote for their hair, but I want you to vote for their hair also, and leave some comments on what you think about that. So here we go. At number 10, we have Cowboy Bob Orton. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason that I really put him in here is because his name's Cowboy Bob Orton. But he is a WWF, not a WWE, but a WWF Hall of Famer. And he's also the pappy of Randy Orton, who's a current wrestler now. So some of you youngins might know Randy. But Cowboy Bob has what we refer to as a Jew-fro. It's just a white boy with an afro, curly hair. I mean, it ain't bad. It ain't terrible, but it ain't great neither, That's why he's at number 10, just because his name's Cowboy Bob, and so I felt kind of obligated to put him on the list. Number 9, I got Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Now, check out old Hacksaw here, boy. He is something else, ain't he? Really, the only reason I put him on here, his hair ain't really that great neither, but I got him in there at number 9 because you just look at that face. It's just so lovable. He's got them big blue eyes, and you ain't really sure who he's looking at, but, I mean, he's just a handsome feller. So I put him in there at number 9. Now, Hacksaw is also a WWF Hall of Famer. He made his debut in 1987, and he was the winner of the 1988 Royal Rumble. I remember that one, boy. That was a good one. All right, now number 8, we got the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Now, I ain't real sure about old Ted. I do know that Ted is now a preacher, if you can imagine that. Now in his later age of life, he is a preacher. But Ted is also a Hall of Famer. He was known as the $1 Million Man. I already said that. He made his debut in 1987. Now, he never won the World Championship, but he attempted to buy it in 1988. He attempted to buy the World Championship. The whole deal fell through eventually. But anyway, Ted's kind of what we call a blow-dried beauty. He's just kind of got that straight hair, but, he does it real nice. He puts some of that Aquanet in it, and shoot, looks fine to me. Number 7 on this list of the greatest wrestlers' hair of the 1980s, we have got Jimmy Hart. Let's take a look at old Jimmy here. Now, he is a character, ain't he? I just like Jimmy Hart. I mean, if I was a wrestler in the 80s, that's exactly what I'd look like. I'd have me a Mississippi waterfall mullet. I'd have me some pretty cool sunglasses, and I would definitely be wearing a leopard skin jacket. I mean, you can't pass up the leopard skin jacket if you're a wrestler in the 1980s. Now, Jimmy wasn't a wrestler himself. He was a manager. He is in the Hall of Fame. He was known as the Mouth of the South, and he was manager to a lot of great wrestlers like Bret the Hitman Hart, the Hart Foundation, those boys. Coming in at number 6, I got old Jake the Snake Roberts. Let me tell you what. Now, there's obvious reasons why Jake the Snake is in here, because I'm terrified of snakes, and I just figure if I don't put him in there, he might come and find me, put a snake under my pillar or something. I ain't having that. So Jake is in there. Now, he's a Hall of Famer also. He's a good wrestler. He debuted in 1986, so he fits in the category. I'm terrified of snakes, so there you got Jake the Snake in at number 6. Now we have reached the top 5 of the greatest wrestlers' hair of the 1980s. I hope y'all are ready for this one. Number 5, the Honky Tonk Man. Now, once again, obvious reasons that old Honky Tonk's in here. Elvis. I mean, what else do you got to say? Now, he's a Hall of Famer. He made his debut in the WWF in 1986. He won the Intercontinental title in 1987, and he was the second longest, holder of the Intercontinental Championship in WWF history. Now, the Honky Tonk Man has some pretty nice looking hair, and he looks like Elvis. So, hey, he's got to make the cut, right? Number 4, we got Ravishing Rick Rude. Let's take a look at old Ravishing Rick here. Now, ain't that a feller? He has got them curly locks. I call them the Pantene curls. You know that he just covered that hair up in Pantene and put some oil in it. And anyway, he made his debut in 1987. Now, he defeated the Ultimate Warrior for the Intercontinental title. So that's pretty much what he hangs his hat on. If you know the Ultimate Warrior, that guy was a feller. Now, you didn't want to tangle with him. And old Ravishing Rude, he whooped up on him and took that belt. So Ravishing Rick, he's in at number 4. Now, number 3, I'm going to have Tito Santana. That's right. Now, this guy, I mean, he's just handsome. He looks like Eddie Van Halen, you know, if he spent 7 years in the gym and was all muscled up. Tito's a Hall of Famer, too. He debuted in 1985, and he competed at the first 9 WrestleManias. Now, he never did win a world championship. He did win the Intercontinental Championship. But, yeah, old Tito, he's a good-looking old boy. So he's on number 3. Now, number 2, you're going to know this guy. Oh, yeah, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Macho Man. I mean, he's got to make the cut. He's just got to make the cut. Maybe his hair ain't the, number 2 hair out of this list, but he's got to make the cut just because he's the freaking Macho Man, and he was awesome. All right, number 1. Now, I already talked about him. But here he is, number 1 in all of his glory, the Ultimate Warrior. Boy, look at that piece of art. I mean, he's got the paint on. He's got the little armbands. He's got the little tassels hanging off his arms. I mean, this guy, he's something. And he didn't know anything but 100% full blast. And that hair was great. I mean, he had to use a whole can of Aquanet on every match. But that Ultimate Warrior, I remember, boy, he was something. Now, I do also have just a couple of honorable mentions. Of course, we can't talk 1980s wrestling without talking about Hulk Hogan. Now, Hulk Hogan didn't have great hair, but here's old Hulk. Now, he had what we call a skullet. That means he had the mullet in the back, but he didn't have nothing up front. So it was bare skull and then the mullet. He had a skullet. Hey, that gets honorable mention. It has to get something, right? Because he's Hulk Hogan. So there he is. And then I got one more honorable mention. This is terrifying, y'all. Bam Bigelow. And he ain't got hair at all, but he had flames tattooed on the top of his head. What in the cornbread do you call that? I call that a little crazy now. I mean, can you imagine how bad that had to hurt to get you whole top of your head tattooed with flames? Whoo! Anyway, that is my list of the best hair of the wrestlers of the 1980s. I put that together. I went through them. I studied it meticulously, and it was hard to do. It was hard to break them down, but I got it. So let me know what you think about yours. Make your own list. If there's somebody that ain't even on my list, well, go ahead and put them in there. It's your own list. You can do whatever you want. There ain't no rules on the Cowboy Corner Show. We do what we want. And even if you just watching, you do what you want. That's just how we do it on the Cowboy Corner Show. This is a free country. We live in America, land of the free, home of the brave, and this is also a free show. And with that being said, hey, I'm so glad that you decided to spend some time on the Cowboy Corner today. Tonight, whenever it is that you're watching. Hey, once again, it's a free country. You can watch whenever you want. But I'm just glad you did. I'm glad you tuned in. Join me again next week. We're going to have us another show. We might do something in between now and then if we're feeling a little froggy. I may just jump in here at some point during the week and hit you up with something else. But until then, I appreciate you watching. I love each and every one of you. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Hey, real quick, y'all, I don't never want to close out a show without giving you the opportunity to receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior if you ain't never done it. Now, if you ain't, hey, here we are, so let's do it right now. You can just say this prayer right after me, and once you do, it's all said and done, all right? Hey, just say this after me right quick. Father God, I just thank you so much that you sent Jesus to this earth to live a perfect and a sinless life. I thank you that he died on the cross for my sins, and I thank you that now I am free. I am now your child, and I just thank you, Father, for your goodness in Jesus' name. Now, hey, if you said that prayer, leave me a comment. Let me know, because that's the big deal, y'all, and I want to know about it, and I'll even send you something if you did it. So let me know, and I will see you next time. Have yourself a good one.